So whenever I did have that pain and aching flare up, I would do the brain retraining exercise for chronic pain, and then eventually that dull aching pain completely went away. How's it going, guys? Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, I'm going to be talking about restless legs. Now, restless legs, aching legs, feeling like there's elephants sitting on your legs. It's a feeling that I had a lot during my recovery, and almost everybody I talk to, when they're at the level of being bedridden, pain everywhere, and there's tons and tons of fatigue, a lot of people mention that they experienced the same thing. And before I got very severe, before I got to the point of being bedridden, I would listen to these videos online of people saying, oh, I couldn't stand the painful legs. It felt like there were elephants sitting on my legs. I never had that until I got to that point where my body was just completely making me hit a wall, to the point where like my legs, it felt like I couldn't use them anymore. So I felt this a ton, especially when I got to that level of spending most of the time in bed, sitting down, being couch bound most of the time. It was extremely uncomfortable. And I noticed that the more I stayed in bed, the more I stopped moving, the more I would feel this aching and this pain. And now looking back, knowing what I know now, there's a bunch of things that were going on. Number one, it was the deconditioning, which is a huge reason our bodies ache and get to that point of feeling chronic pain and stiffness all the time. So one, yes, it is a nervous system issue. We're a lot more sensitive to any aches and pains. So something that would be very small normally, we actually just feel it 10 times worse. But it was actually also a result of deconditioning. When I wasn't moving around that much, when I was in bed most of the day, my muscles would just melt away. And I found that my calves and my quads were really sore. And essentially my muscle was wasting. I noticed as the months went on, my leg muscles became smaller and smaller, to the point where it was really hard to stand. And when I would try even going to the washroom, my legs would be super shaky and I had to hold onto the walls. I couldn't really balance properly. A lot of it was because my muscles were not being used. So there's a saying in the body, I used to be a personal trainer, you either use it or you lose it. So the whole reason we have muscle is to support our body, support our movements. So if we're not moving that much, our body goes, okay, we actually don't need this much muscle. So let's just start getting rid of it. There's no need to have all this excess muscle if we're not going to use it. So that's when the muscles start to melt away. It doesn't mean it's going to be gone forever. I found it to be a very temporary thing, because there's something also called muscle memory where those muscles come back. Now, that's the deconditioning side of things, right? I wasn't using my muscles, so my body was kind of just getting rid of it. And in my muscles just breaking down, I would just feel really sore and achy. But there was another side to this discomfort, which was, so I have several other videos talking about chronic pain. You can actually find the main one right up here, where I break down how chronic pain works. That achiness you feel for the muscle wasting, that pain is amplified by your brain. So when your brain is in a very stressed mode, a very stressed state, you can start to feel way more pain than normal. Even the blanket rubbing over your leg in the wrong way, that could cause some pain. I had times when my dad would just kind of hold my arm, or someone would touch me and I felt pain. So this achiness that I was feeling in my muscles, it was just amplified by the chronic pain. So when I found out about the brain retraining exercise for chronic pain, that really helped with the leg pain, right? And even just moving around a little bit more, standing up, using my legs, even when I was at the point of being bedridden, that's kind of how I broke out of that. Now, my legs felt very sore, right? Extremely sore, because I hadn't used them in months, but it was needed to just start reconditioning my muscles. So whenever I did have that pain and aching flare up, I would do the brain retraining exercise for chronic pain. And then eventually that dull aching pain completely went away. I no longer get that. Doing something for your calves and your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes, doing the brain retraining for chronic pain is actually going to help that go away long term. That's something that is actively in your control that you can start implementing right this second. You may not feel the effects right away, but like I said, go to that link. I'll also put it down in the description down below, so you can go watch that video where I teach you how to do that exercise. Another thing you can do in the moment is, if you have the capacity, taking cool showers, even cold showers. Something that really helped with the leg pain was I would take 2 showers a day. And when I say showers, I was sitting on the floor or on a chair because I couldn't really stand up at first for the first month or so when I started taking showers regularly. But I would put warm water. It was like a regular shower. But at the end of the shower, that's when I would actually use the cold water. I would especially put cold water on my lower body, on the muscles that were aching. And I found that after, it just really helped that twitching and that kind of burning sensation really calm down. So I found that to be super helpful. In the long run, this is a symptom that does go away. It's one of those things that's just super annoying, but as you work on fixing the hypersensitive nervous system as a whole, it starts to fix other issues, just like the aching legs, the heavy legs. Also, if you're at a point where maybe you're not bedridden or you're not couch bound, but you're actually able to move around, what your body is trying to do is set limiters in place. So you could be walking around and you might feel like you hit a wall. Like all of a sudden your legs feel very heavy, they feel very achy, and almost like your body is turning off a switch for you to use your legs. So take that as a sign your body is trying to tell you to slow down or even completely stop the walking just for that session. So listen to your body. If you do feel like you're running into those issues, just pull it back a little bit. We don't want it to get to the point where your body is forcing your legs to pretty much shut down, because that means you've taken it way too far. That's why in the Recovery Jumpstart program, we actually help build a plan for people so that way they could increase activity little by little and they know which parameters they can stay within versus trying to just go off intuition. In the beginning, your intuition is not going to be that developed for the activities that you can do. It's a skill that you learn as you learn how your body is working, as you learn how to respond to the symptoms better, and as you learn what the right level of activity is for you. There's no exact black or white amount of activity. It's more a gray area, but you'll have a better idea of how much to do once you have that plan in place. So take that as a sign that you're doing a little bit too much if your legs are starting to just completely shut down. If they're getting a little bit tired, a little bit achy, that's okay. But when you feel them completely hitting a wall, that's a signal that should tell you, okay, it's time to pull back. So overall, I had that aching, burning, heavy leg sensation for about a year, if not a year and a half. But over time it went away. As you start to get better and recover and introduce more things, this tends to go away. And as you learn about these things, and even just watching this video right now, you won't be nervous. You won't be super anxious when that symptom does come up, right? It can feel like a very weird feeling. It's a little bit scary when you don't know what's going on, but the fact that you're watching this right now, and now you know that this is very, very common with CFS, or any hypersensitive nervous system disorder. Well, this is common and you know that it does go away. There's so many people in Recovery Jumpstart who have had this and it's went away. So don't worry if you are having this right now. Don't let it frustrate you. Don't start getting anxious about it. This is something that goes away with time as you recover. Now, the subscriber highlight comment of this video comes from a user, it's kind of hard to read it, Don't Vote for Pedro. Interesting name. But this is an awesome comment. It's a little bit longer, but I think it's really good, so I'm gonna read it out here. It truly is very simple. We are not lacking energy. We have as much as the next person. The difference is that the majority of our energy is wrapped up in perpetually reinforcing the core belief that we are unsafe. The epiphany moment is when we realize that if we have the capacity to create and maintain such an extreme reality of insecurity, then we most certainly have the ability to create one of safety. It's simply a matter of realizing we are in fact safe, but we've chosen, by way of a billion subtle decisions every day, to live under the illusion that we are not safe. And then redirecting our energy into the learning and practice of mastering new habits that build a different reality of safety. P.S. To the person reading this who is suffering and down on yourself or wondering if you could ever truly heal from this, no wonder you are exhausted. Look at all you've been through. You have survived a kind of pressure day in and day out that would break most people. You are not weak. You are the complete opposite. You are a freaking warrior. If you have the strength to endure such incredible hardship and still be going, you most certainly are strong enough to recover from this. And I think that is an amazing comment, one of the best comments on the entire channel that I've seen. There's some really good comments on here, but thank you for posting that comment. It was on one of the interviews we did with Nicole. You can find it right up here, and she is absolutely crushing it. She was sick for about 6 years. Now she's really coming out of it. She's gotten her life back. You could go watch that video right up here. But if you want to have a chance to be featured in one of the next videos, make sure to leave a comment down below. What was your biggest takeaway from this video, and what's some advice you can share with people watching this channel? If you did like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and Always remember that you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living life with thriving health. I'll see you in the next video.